Hello, this is the Digital Forensic Expert Testimony for Team 2 Australia. My name is Mabel Duwana, and I will be answering the following expert testimony questions. The legal challenges associated with cyber incidents involving foreign countries are attributions and technology. One of the most significant hurdles that must be overcome in the legal pursuit and prosecution of cyber criminals is attribution. The ability to be able to hold any group or nation responsible for their acts or actions under international law. Technology meaning that it is at an advancing pace, which makes it impossible for existing legal framework to catch up or address these situations. How do internal laws affect discovery? E-discovery is the process of discovery in legal proceedings such as litigation, government investigations, or the Freedom of Information Act, in which information is required to be in an electronic form that is also referred to as electronically stored information, ESI. Cross-cultural differences are significant barriers as it relates to law dealing with e-discovery. Defined processes in Australia may not be recognized in another country. Internal laws typically vary from country to country that can be problematic, especially when presenting evidence from other countries. In Australia, the forensic investigator must adopt procedures that adhere to admissibility standards for evidence presented in the court of law. This slide references international law that may influence the investigation for New Zealand, Canada, and the United States. There are legal challenges of accessing and retrieving electronic evidence stored on foreign soil because not all countries adhere to the international cyber laws. With no legal jurisdiction, retrieving electronic evidence stored in another country can be challenging. In 2001, the Convention of Cybercrime was the first international treaty created to address internet and computer crimes by increasing cooperation amongst nations, improving investigative techniques, and congruent national laws. The goal was to pursue a common criminal policy that would protect society against cybercrime, particularly regarding adopting appropriate legislation and cultivating international cooperation. The international laws are generally failing to keep pace with technology given the rapid pace it continues to evolve. Procedures associated with cloud storage that will be utilized to access and retrieve digital evidence, well, that would depend on the country. In a cloud environment, the cloud provider is the entity that will be subpoenaed in a criminal investigation, and the compliance will depend on which country they reside. The likelihood of cooperation in a criminal investigation for evidence residing in China or Russia may be slim to none because those countries do not recognize international laws regarding cybersecurity. The Australian laws that influence this investigation are as follows. Australia enacted the Privacy Act in 1988. This promoted and protected individuals' privacy and regulated how Australian government agencies and organizations handle personal information when their annual revenue was $3 million or greater. The Security of Critical Infrastructure Act 2018 was developed in response to the technical evolution to manage national security risks of sabotage, espionage, and coercion posed by foreign entities. The Australian federal policy is responsible for responding and investigating national and transactional cybercrime and must abide by the laws set in place. ACSC has published the Australian Government Information Security Manual (ISM) that outlines the cybersecurity framework that organizations can apply. Conflict that arose between ethics and international law during the forensic investigation was ethical challenges, which includes China and Russia doing the collection of data and the suspect of investigations tampering. Furthermore, China and Russia do not recognize many international laws as it relates to cybersecurity, thereby making a case for legal action against a person or group difficult. These conflicts affected the investigation because although Team Australia was diligent in conducting a thorough investigation, evidence was not found to prove actual tampering. These various actors have been questioned and are awaiting trial due to China and Russia's policies. Steps taken to protect U.S. soil and citizens during the international investigation includes information sharing with the U.S., which is an ongoing practice as of the Five Eyes Partnership, immediate review of cyber software assurance program, software development life, and high incident response measures which were enacted to avert similar threats in the United States. Describe any risks to the country, businesses, or citizens from your investigation. Taking into consideration our consistent dependence on technologies which continue to grow, these risks include ransomware attacks, software vulnerability, brute force attacks, SQL injection attacks, DDoS attacks, which are distributed denial of service attack, insider threat, and social engineering. The best practice is to ensure that cybersecurity measures are implemented to proactively protect, preserve, and mitigate risk. The laws mentioned above are significant because these laws must be adhered to when obtaining and handling evidence in a criminal investigation. Australia complied with international agreements and allowed DTL Power to conduct a fair and legal forensic investigation. Evidence was collected within the confines of the laws, interviews, and international laws were strictly followed. Thank you for your time.